Welcome back, everybody, to WCS America here live from the ESL studios in Cologne. I was about to say Krefeld because I've been there for a few times. You're watching WCS America Group G action, and it's been a very fun day with a lot of close series and maybe at least one upset already, and we were so close to another massive upset in WCS America. But Paul did what Paul just does back, and that is make comebacks in TVT.
Yeah, that game. I mean, it almost feels like it's hard to say comeback because at what point, like, how far ahead was either one of those players? It was such a scrappy third game, but Neeb really showing some excellent play all throughout both of his matches. But he has been knocked down. Polt is out to the round of 16. He has advanced, and now it is time for our losers match to find out who will play against Neeb in the final series. We have a Terran versus Protoss. It's Minigun versus Illusion.
It's a root for root team kill.
Yeah.
Those happen. And it's going to be a really fun series. Of course, two players that are very familiar with each other's styles. Minigun is definitely aware of the fact that Illusion loves to have a lot of crazy builds in this matchup. Illusion knows that Minigun is solid, but he probably also saw the series earlier today where Neeb displayed perhaps a small weakness in Minigun's playstyle, and that is that he often skips detection for a little while. And especially with the new Widow Mines, that might be able to do something, that might be able to capitalize on. Well, that didn't really come out right. Either way, the game is live. Let's just go ahead and jump into Frost. And when Nate, you can go ahead and introduce your Terran brother.
All right. Well, spawning in the southeast position of the map that is Frost, we have our blue Terran player from Team Root Gaming. It is Illusion. Knocked down in the first match by Polt.
He's going to go up against his Protoss brother, perhaps, definitely my Protoss brother, but since they are teammates after all, I'm sure that he considers Mini, who is, of course, a red Protoss spawning in the left bottom side of the map, which is Frost, a brother as well, Chad Jones, a.k.a. Root Minigun. That root for root action. Both of them are rebels.
Yeah.
Root against all authority.
Well, as long, I guess it's appropriate at least somewhat. But this map, so the first thing I look at when I see Terran versus Protoss on Frost is the spawns. And I think both players spawning on the bottom is incredibly good for the Terran player. If Illusion decides that he wants to be aggressive, he has a very short rush distance to his opponent, and it's difficult to counterattack when you're pushing on this direction of the map in the early game for a Protoss player. So Minigun sends out a very fast probe scout.
And it's going to be so nice because Illusion is going to drop the command center first over here on Frost. Illusion is a crazy Terran player, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't know how to macro. He definitely does. But as soon as he has units, he just likes to do stuff with it. And he definitely has a couple of crazy 2-Rex builds as well, where one Rex will be in the main, one will be proxied out somewhere in the map. But this is so good for Minigun. Not only will he be able to answer this with a very economic build on his own, he is going to be so annoying with this probe, forcing Illusion to send 2 SCVs to the low ground, one new one to build this command center, the other probe can fight the SCV, then Illusion is going to have to send this SCV back as well because the probes will regenerate. This is really nice as a Protoss. It's the small things that matter. And on the other map you can see that Minigun just stopped doing whatever he wanted to do at first, and he's going to drop that Nexus in his own.
Yeah, this is really nice for Minigun. You said it. You can burn the health on those SCVs, force him to pull, lose mining time as well, and then delay his cybernetic score to get a quick Nexus up. So Minigun already feeling pretty comfortable with himself. He's not worried about responding to this. He has already a prepared reaction in his mind.
And let's not forget that Illusion doesn't know yet what Minigun is doing on the other side of the map. There are some builds out there where Protoss will just chrono boost the first Zealot, then Stalker, and then Mothership Core. Now Frost is a big map, so it is not that strong. But however, if Terran decides to neglect that bunker for a little while because they want to play greedy, then you're going to pretty much straight up lose that game. I do not think that Illusion will make that mistake because I know that Minigun has tried this in the past. Sometimes it works, but if the bunker is up, then everything that your probe achieved early on will be for nothing, because then the Terran just recovers immediately from the chrono boost that you spent on these 3 units that you won't be able to use.
Yeah, I like that Minigun's playing this conservatively. He's getting his Mothership Core out, and on these spawns, it shouldn't be too difficult to try to scout. He wasn't able to get it against Neeb in an earlier game in today's series, but I feel like the production layout for Illusion is pretty straightforward. There's nothing tricky being used here by him. He's going straight up to a normal barracks count, and Minigun is going to do what Minigun does, and that's build Stargates after expanding.
Yep, always this one probe that's hovering around the edges of this base, and it just goes ahead and drops the Stargate there. This is something he does so often. It's a 3-Rex opening over here by Illusion, and that's something that, you know, I always feel if Terran does it right, there might be a small window of opportunity for him to be really annoying as well. At least make it hard for Minigun to go up to 3 bases.
Yeah, that's an especially good point. And another thing to keep in mind is the way that the Command Center first build works is you get your first 2 barracks up so quickly, it's not hard to get enough Marines to defend against Oracle-based play, as long as you keep in mind when the Oracle might come and don't get supply blocked. Getting 6 Marines in each of your bases isn't hard. And now Illusion, with his first 5 Marines, wants to get aggressive. He's pushing this Stalker back, already forcing Minigun to have to make some decisions. He's close to having Photon Overcharge.
But he doesn't have it just yet.
Yeah, he kills a probe, 2 probes so far, not bad at all. And I feel like once Photon Overcharge is ready, most of these Marines will probably die, but getting that Stalker would definitely have been nice.
This is something I don't understand as a Terran player. When you have 4 Marines like this, I do not understand why you just don't right-click it into the mineral line. I think he could have killed the Stalker for sure, if not 2 or 3 additional probes. You're going to lose those Marines anyways against Photon Overcharge, so you might as well just let them go out in a bang. However, this Oracle is going to fly in. There are Marines in position, but Minigun is paying attention. This Oracle will still be annoying because it's an Oracle, and it picks up a couple of kills here and there. Still doing some serious work over here, more than I expected.
Yeah, that's quite a bit more. The Marines actually got kind of chained around. They ran around the barracks to try to catch it as it killed the SCV building the factory. So it's not bad for Minigun. And he's kind of evened out this total number of workers killed. Of course, with the Chrono Boost, you got a few more probes, and then with the mules, it kind of evens out that. So it still seems relatively even. But here's what Minigun does, and this cost him his game on Yonsu against Neeb. This fast 3rd base, and I mean, comparing it to the situation he was in against Neeb, Neeb took like no damage at all in the early game. So I don't know if this. I feel like it should be easier to defend against an attack that Illusion would bring, but his stim is also faster.
Yeah, and it's a 3-Rex opening as well, so that means more units early on, and he was forced to use a Photon Overcharge early on. This might seem irrelevant, but there is a very good chance that Illusion is going to move out soon again, and then there will only be a single Photon Overcharge, no time warp or something like that, to defend for Minigun. And, you know, I have a really hard time. He's going to go Blink first as well. Blink is extremely good in defending drops, but not all that good in the straight-up engagement. I have a hard time believing again that Minigun is going to be able to get away with this, but I know he has done this a lot in the past. Here come the first few buy units though. If we take a look at the work or the army or unit stab right now, it's 2 Stalkers, 3 Sentries, a Stalker or a Mothership Core and an Oracle. That's just not that much. There is a good chance that Illusion will be able to force out another Photon Overcharge before this is real. Even though I don't think he's going to use it, but if Illusion can trigger a Photon Overcharge here, then he's setting himself up so well for that next attack. He does get the Photon Overcharge. I think Mini used it a little too soon there.
Yeah, once the medevacs get over, there will not be any energy for defense. He uses the Revelation to try to seize him. It actually stims up. Yeah, a bit of a bold move. Snipes 1 sentry, but he does get force fielded and loses, I'd say, about half of that force there. That's really going to diminish the power of this next attack. Yeah,
I didn't like that stim of the ram that much. He had no idea what was waiting for him there. All that he saw was a Stalker. But there were 3 sentries. There was a Revelation in his army, so he should have known that Minigun was obviously setting himself up to deal with that because he knew exactly what he was facing. So a little too over-eager there for Illusion. Minigun right now on 58 probes against 47 SCVs. No 3rd command center on the way just yet. 4th and 5th Rex are about to kick in. Okay, there goes the 3rd command center. Where is it? Over here in the natural. Still though, this is normally a phase in the game. Army supply. Terran is up in army supply. The only thing that is really good for Minigun right now is that there is Blink. That's all. I think if Illusion controls this very well, he has such a good window of opportunity to do sick damage.
Yeah, especially without that charge, these Zealots have a really hard time closing the gap. The Marauders adding in that slow as well is such a nuisance. The force field's really not doing too much for Minigun here. These even brings the Oracle up, trying to help poke these Marines down. Blinks on top. He thinks he can take it. Wow. He's still going to sustain some heavy losses to these Marauders, but Minigun has held.
Yeah, that was actually a surprising amount of Stalkers coming up out of nowhere. Few of these Team Marauders are trading very well though. Like, this is not for free, but Minigun knows, like, hey, with my 3 bases, I'm doing pretty well. And I guess he is content with just pushing this army back. it's hard to say for who that was really good. I know that it looked good for Minigun after that forward blink, but Stalkers are not for free, and I think right now he's definitely overextending.
Yeah, he's moving a bit deep, especially with those Widow Mines. There's no Observer here, and man, what Marauders do some serious damage to these Stalkers. Almost all of them cleaned up, and he's being pushed back. He just has a couple of these sentries as well. If Minigun gets caught here, okay, he uses the Time Warp. If, as I say, if Illusion catches all these sentries with that Mothership Core, I don't know if that's a recoverable position for the Protoss. Even these Zealots being brought down here are going to get caught as well. That concussive shell is so good before charges out.
But that was really unnecessary for Minigun. Like, he knew he had 3 bases very quick as a Protoss player. And yes, he did sort of won that fight. But you know, as a Terran player, they don't often bring all of their units. I do not think there was any reason for Mini to be aggressive in that phase in the game. He should have been more than happy that he didn't lose any probes. And yes, he did save that Mothership Core, but he dropped another Time Warp. This means, again, no defensive Time Warp, no Photon Overcharge. We do have 2 High Templars, but Storm is not researched just yet. This time there will be charge, though. However, I'm really worried for Minigun. Like, I know Illusion's control in situations like this can be extremely good. The robotics facility is not even ready yet, so no detection for these Widow Mines.
And the Zealots get completely obliterated by them. Illusion just splitting his army, stepping back, and now chasing because, hey, he doesn't have enough to actually break this. There's still not even any detection to clean these up. The Widow Mines, as they regenerate that cooldown, Zealots pushing them back a little bit now. Archon's quite low as well.
That Archon went through all of those force fields like a bulldozer. That was so funny. He just started from the bottom and then he went his way up to the top.
Yeah, look at these mines. That cooldown is about to go off, and he has a cannon on the way in that mineral line of the third, but I don't think that has enough vision radius to actually spot these mines. There's so many of them here. He can just poke all day, and a Minigun has to attack or he's going to lose his third. Here come the Zealots, and there you see those Widow Mines doing some serious work on this Protoss force.
But that is something we have not seen in the past. There are a lot of High Templars, but there is still no Storm. Do you think he thinks he's researching Storm? Because he's not.
Yeah, I mean, this many Templar, I don't think feedback's going to do much when you're stimming your army this much.
He starts Storm right now. I really have the feeling that he completely forgot about it. Otherwise, he could have morphed them into High Templar or Archons before. And GG is called. Illusion takes the first map against Minigun. Perhaps a small surprise for a lot of people as well. But Chris played well in that game.
Yeah, it really seems like Minigun, you know, we didn't see mines used too much in the series with Neeb. But, you know, even just watching Minigun stream a little bit, he doesn't, you know, he's not a big fan of the mines now. They're pretty tough to deal with, especially fast Oracle third base, those types of games. We talked about this when he played against Neeb on this map. It forces you to use a lot of gateway units, which means you want to use things like Zealots with charge and Blink Stalkers. Well, the Stalkers are horrible versus the straight-up bio. The Zealots get destroyed by those Widow Mines. It's a very greedy build that Minigun chooses to use, and I feel like that's cost him this game, both in this situation and in the last one.
Yeah, and I feel the craziest thing is, like, he's playing that greedy, but then he still has the desire to be offensive. Well, he really doesn't have to. Like, the fact that he didn't take that much damage at first was already remarkable. I thought it was a very good hold. And even that forward blink, the first one, well, he lost a few Stalkers, but it was still good. But then he passed the Zelnaga Watchtower all the way on Terran territory, and that was just a little too much of the good stuff. I do not think that was necessary.
Yeah, Illusion had good enough macro to be able to hold on against that assault, especially if you don't have an observer and then you bring the sentries and the Zealots. Those are the slow units. You know, worst comes to worst. If you want to chase or do a bit of poking, the Stalkers you can blink back if you see that there's too much, but just a bit of a tough situation. So the next map is going to be Yonsu for this Terran versus Protoss, and I don't think we're going to see Minigun do anything like blink on this map.
Yeah, this is a hard series for Minigun to play right now. Like, do you really want to do something risky with your tournament live on the line?
Yeah, I mean, the last time he played on this map, he kind of did what he just did in that last game. So,
and what I also think is crazy, like Frost, it's kind of hard to defend your third base like that. There's such a wide open area that you know it's not like 1 or 2 force fields are going to keep your 3 bases safe. He's going to have to drop a lot of force fields, and you pointed it out very well. Those force fields, they were okay. You know, they zoned out a few Marines, and it wasn't for nothing, but it was also not like what you really hope for as a Protoss player, that you zone out 5-6 units, or maybe that you're able to force him to pick up those units with a medevac, and then you forward blink and you snipe that medevac. And there's also still one more thing I would like to highlight in that last game. This is something that I don't know if he's watching, but Baby Knight has been very keen about in the past, that you have to be so careful with that Mothership Core energy. And I felt Illusion did a really good job in triggering Minigun to use all that energy, because never did I feel that Photon Overcharge or Time Warp was very effective in that game. No. Other than keeping him safe in a phase where Illusion didn't even really want to commit. All he wanted is for him to use that energy.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Never any energy for defense. But guys, we are loaded into the map for game number 2 of this best of 3 here at WCS America. And here we have our Terran player, 1 game away from moving up to the final match. The blue Terran from Team Root Gaming. It is Illusion. A little banter about those Widow Mines.
Yeah. Terran players have these smileys. Not sure if nice or sarcastic. But I do know that these two guys are very good friends of each other. Root for Root, Jet Jones Minigun, or Jet Minigun Jones, that's the way we normally say it. Is, of course, a red Protoss spawning on the right top side. Again on Yonsu. What do you do if you're Chet? Maybe just go back to what you used to do a lot. Maybe just stay on 2 bases a little longer. Maybe even a Colossus opening, even though a Colossus against a Negro player like Illusion is risky, because one of the reasons why Minigun stopped opening Colossus that much is because he kept dying to SCV pools, and I think it's safe to say that Illusion is quite the SCV pooler. So I don't know, maybe an Oracle opening once more. It seems like Chad right now losing 3 out of 4 games against Terran. He must be feeling a little lost.
Yeah, I feel like this patch has definitely set him back a little bit. He's had some difficulty. Because I mean, if you look at it, the popular way that most Protoss players have played this matchup out, and he's actually already checking for proxies. This is a map where Illusion had a very interesting
game against Australia.
With the proxy barracks in that location. But a lot of Protoss players were using that. Either fast third or aggression into fast third with Zealot, Archon, or Zealot Storm play. And this Widow Mine change has made it very difficult for Minigun to deal with this, because he even in the game where he went Colossi against Need, still had a very hard time playing against just that big aggressive style that normally Storms can push away.
As much as I enjoy the poor Protoss talk, because everyone was kind of complaining about my race for a while, I agree with you, but I really do not think that Protoss is forced to go up to 3 bases that ridiculously quick. And even in that one game, he did kind of stabilize, and then he still decides to be aggressive. Normally, if you go up to 3 bases and you have such a big work lead, and you know that your your Terran opponent dropped his 4th and 5th racks before that 3rd command center, then sit back, life is beautiful as a Protoss player late game. You get some storms, you chrono boost out those upgrades, eventually transition into Colossus of a good economy. There is no need for you to run across the map with Zelnag Watchtower and blink forward into 3 Widow Mines. Yes, the new Widow Mines are good, but I wouldn't go that far yet that we have to feel sorry for the Protoss players. Not yet. Maybe in a few months, I'll be the first one to do it. I'll be the ambassador of the Let's Feel Sorry for the Protoss Club. But right now, I think it's a little too early.
All right, well, Illusion's being very attentive to this map layout, looking around. And he actually cut cut his gas mining. He didn't even do what, most Terran players after the Reaper go for a quick reactor. He's instead opted to just put out Marines with this Reaper scouting. He's not anticipating any level of aggression that he would need a reactor to defend. This will allow him to get his extra barracks up a little more quickly, and he can get a slightly faster tech lab if he puts on his first barracks to get his stim upgrade out. So a bit of a different way of handling the situation for Illusion. He's just trying to get a few more minerals than normal.
That Reaper is doing a good job in scouting pretty much everything there was possibly to scout, though. He does come the Twilight Council. Does this mean that Minigun is going to play similar to what he did against Neep on Heavy Rain? Yeah, maybe. It's a Blink Stalker aggression if it's possible. Illusion's build is very different than the one of Neep. Will Illusion be able to scout it, though? That is the big question.
I think Minigun, knowing that Illusion is opening up with a bio-based play, means that Minigun can write off any potential of a mine drop. He doesn't have to worry. Even Cloak Banshee, which I would only ever mention if it was Illusion playing in a game.
Or Masa, maybe.
Yeah, the Root Terran's quite aggressive, but it was, to my point is that this blink attack, he doesn't have to worry about being counterattacked with. He can completely go for full committed aggression if he wants to, without having to worry about defending against anything, unless Illusion manages to slip a few bio units out onto the map and attack him while Minigun moves out.
Yeah, that's exactly the only thing I was about to say, but then you finish your train of thought already. That is the only thing he has to worry about, and I think that might be something that we sort of are going to see over here. Illusion is going to try to do what Paul showed us that is fantastic on Yonsu, if the Protoss player is completely unaware of it, and if they open up with Blink Stalker. It's a lot of ifs, but you'd be surprising how often this is still a good idea, guys. Because, Protoss just tend to open a lot with Blink Stalkers on this map, at least some of them.
Yeah, it's just really popular, and that Reaper was denied by the Stalkers, and here comes Illusion. This is a bit he's being a bit forward, I would say.
But
The Zealot takes some damage. Yeah, it's not that he's going to get some information about the unit composition of his opponent. There's the timer. So Mothership Core energy already spent. Might even kill it. It's getting dangerously low. But
again, I would have loved to see him just stand in the mineral line. I guess worried about photon overcharge. Overall, he trades okay. He gets a Stalker there. He does a lot of damage on the Mothership Core, which might make it a lot easier for him to kill it in the future. He does know exactly what he's playing against right now if he didn't yet. Where did that Reaper go, by the way?
He's moving out another set of forces on the map, and I don't like this too much. I feel like he's reaching that point where there's not a lot of Stalkers on the map because he hasn't warped in more since his gateways are coming close to finishing.
I think he just might be looking over here. Maybe he's going to be able to pick up that probe.
If he catches these Stalkers and this probe,
that's
huge.
So good already. This has to be so frustrating if you're Minigun. Just nothing is going his way. Yes, he does have one pylon over here, but he's going to have to send out another probe if he wants to. If he wants to commit with this. He might be able to get the pylon before the Stalkers are wiped in. Stim is ready. Kill the pylon.
Yeah, I mean, the Mothership Core had enough energy to try to maybe even recall those forces out, but now these Marauders are going to kill all of these Stalkers.
This is even better, I guess.
Wow.
The power of the Stim Marauder. Like, why would you kill a pylon if you can actually take out 3 or 4 Stalkers? I felt it was a risky choice. It could have backfired, but it turned out absolutely fantastic. And just nothing, but then absolutely nothing is going Minigun's way so far in this series.
Just being so outward, being so forward on the map. And look, Minigun, now he's trying to double back, throwing up additional gases, maybe even a forge or something at this point. But Illusion's already got combat shields, concussive shells. He's just parading across the map. Mothership Core is dead. There's no photon overcharge, no time warps. It's just Stalkers versus Marauders with concussive shell. This is not a fight that a Protoss player can normally win. He's just going to try to win with brute numbers. He's not even warping in Zealots. He's still just sticking on Stalkers.
Do you know that he produced a 4th Rex? I'm looking at the production tab and I see 3 Marauders and 2 Marines. I'm like, what? Like, how is he doing this? He dropped a 4th Rex. That's why he was able to have so many Marauders in a phase in the game where normally you just don't as a Terran player.
He just finished his factory at 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
But so far it's been working out. Now he throws up 3 more Rexes. So he's going to be 7 Rexing of 2 base. What does he think he is, a Protoss?
Yeah, this is a bit unusual. There's no force fields, so he's just trying to brute force his way in here. The Zealots provide, guess somewhat of a cushion. Without charge, they can't get in the way too much. And Illusion's taking these out. He does need to be careful with his stims because he does not have any healing power, but he's just going to try to blow the doors down on these Stalkers, and he is chewing away quite well at them. Kills the sentry, backs off. As it's kind of funny that they think that he doesn't have enough Marine production to actually kill his Mothership Core. But the Marauders coming from the back, and he is just focusing on these Stalkers. Stalkers are so expensive.
This is week 1 Wings of Liberty that we are watching, Nate. It's like just Stim Marauders with nothing else. They're making their way across the map, and Minigun is realizing what's going on. He's like, what's up with this Happy Marauder kit? I'm gonna start producing some Immortals. You know, Minigun does have a reasonable economy. He's behind a few workers. I still feel it's something he could work with, but the biggest problem is that he lost so freaking many gateway units that, like, how is he not going to take damage from drops? He does have Blink, but the more Stalkers he makes, the less Immortals and Colossus he will have in the near future. And if he doesn't make Stalkers, then yes, he might be safe in the front, but how is he ever going to be safe in the back?
That is the question. Illusion has a rather large force now on the map. He has his first 2 medevacs on the field a little bit later, but you know what? He's done enough damage to still make this 12-minute medevac timing very strong. The robotics bay has just completed. We're 75 seconds away from a Colossus, and he's chrono boosting that out as well. There's a couple sentries here for force fields if Illusion tries to force this ramp by the natural, but I feel like he could still even do damage. He's pulled some SCVs as well.
Still, if the force fields are good, then it should be okay for Illusion over here. For a Minigun. But it's just very risky, guys. I think he's very afraid to let too many units squeeze through. Illusion has to be careful over here as well. I mean, these forces are not that good. The Immortal dies immediately. Photon Overcharge will go down, but I'm afraid there's just way too much DPS right now in this Terran army. Colossus is about to join in the battlefield, but...
Well, he snipes one pylon, but the Colossus will still finish. There's some Marines and Marauders on the high ground. Illusion still rallying down. He needs to watch himself and make sure he doesn't overextend a bit too much. There's no range on the Colossus, but there are enough sentries and zealots, even with these probes tanking, to help push this bio back. But Illusion doesn't even care. He kills the Colossus. He's up 30 supply against this Protoss player, just rallying down the map, never stopping this assault. And the Photon Overcharge will just barely help him push this back for now, but just look at this rally down the map. He's not stopping. Widow Mines are here as well. Just now beginning another Colossus.
And the most important thing is that third orbital is on the way right now. Command Center already finished up. Again, he's going to steam up the ramp. Not often do you see Minigun just not dropping good force fields. And now again, I think these force fields are not that effective either. He made a big mistake in that last fight. Like the first force fields were too defensive. The next ones, they were just a little too late. Widow Mines are going to join in the fun as well. Photon Overcharge is about to expire. And I think we're looking at Illusion perhaps upsetting his teammate Minigun here and getting revenge for that endless game on Blu-ray Invitational Tournament where he lost in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, the Widow Mines are here to take up the last few Zealots. A Colossus comes out for Minigun. It looks like it might be enough to push some of this back, but that rally is not stopping down the map. He has more Widow Mines getting ready to burrow. I don't even think there's an observer with this force at the moment. He does have one, but he picks off more units with those mines. They still manage to detonate. And I mean, he's thrown away a lot of units, but I feel like as long as he maintains this discrepancy in the army size, he's up 30 supply. He's lost not too many less resources, but I still like the position for Illusion because he's able to be so aggressive. And Minigun, you know, it's like, yeah, he's not dead yet, but he is never going to get a third base.
Exactly. Like, how can he possibly get a third base from this position? This doesn't make any sense to me. I do not see how that is doable for him. His working on the 43 is still reasonable, considering the fact that he was forced to pull pros to defend once. He's hanging in there. He's fighting like a champ, but I'm afraid that his army is not strong enough. He doesn't have charts either, so these Zealots are just not that useful. Colossus are very useful though, but there are still a lot of Marauders. And is there enough Protoss to defend these Colossus? Well, perhaps the answer is no, as one of them falls immediately.
Yeah, he doesn't need Vikings. He's just going in with Marines, Marauders, and Mines. He saw how Need was able to take that series earlier on. And, well, one Colossus still manages to survive that drop, but Minigun taps out. GG Illusion will move on to the final match to get a rematch against Pult.
Fantastic series.
Yeah, Need, sorry.
Yes. Oh, no. I was confused. I was like, was it Boulder or was
that series was so close, I kept thinking both lost at that point.
But they have actually. That's not a rematch because they haven't played against each other yet.
They haven't played against each other yet.
So everything you said was wrong, Nate. Come on.
I'm sorry.
No, this was a really cool series. A little bit surprising, perhaps, for a lot of people. But Chris showing us that he's practicing a lot, that he's perhaps right now in better shape than he has been for a long time, upsetting his teammate Minigun. I think it's safe to say Mini was a small favorite because. You know, like he recently had so much success within the North American scene, a couple of deep tournament runs and the MLG tournaments and whatnot. But Illusion just playing really solid. I do have to feel that like Minigun made a couple of unforced errors as well. Like Illusion did a lot of stuff right and he forced a lot of mistakes upon Minigun, but I felt a couple of mistakes were unforced and not the same Minigun that we normally see. Perhaps just a little thrown off by that patch and making it bigger in his mind than it actually is, because a couple of the fights he took were just unnecessary.
Yeah, it seems just a couple of decisions. You said it in the first game, especially moving out after that third base was taken, not having energy on the mothership core, and then Minigun, the 2 times he tried Blink in matches today, did not. Everything that pretty much could have gone wrong while trying to make those Blink builds work went wrong.
This Yonsu game was really unfortunate for Minigun. This is one of those games where your opponent is doing everything right. Illusion was just so sure right off the get-go that he was going to play against this. He had a small scout early on. He set himself up with that very first small Marine hit squad, which was already effective. You know, he dropped the mothership core to very low HP. He killed the Stalker. I felt if he would have gone into the middle line, he could have maybe taken down 5-6 probes. That could have even been better. But, of course, Photon Overcharge would immediately kill all those Marines as well. So it's hard to say. After that, I still felt it was like a very ballsy decision to let that pylon finish and let those 6 Stalkers be warped in, because I was like, well, now Minigun can just out-micro him. But because of that 4th Rex, he had way more Marauders than a Terran would normally have in that phase in the game. So Illusion once more giving his own twist to things, but doing it really well.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And I have to say, it's funny, like when we talk about noticing things, just that 4th Rex. I didn't even realize he delayed his factory so much to get that extra Marauder production in anticipation of the Blink, and it paid off in a really weird way. But
now, this was the type of game that's absolutely perfect for it. This is not a build that you want to copy against the passive Protoss that doesn't do this, because then you're going to sit there with all these bio units, but you won't be able to do anything other than run into a natural, which you won't kill anything. But, you know, these kind of non-stop action games are just perfect for it. Either way, we're going to head over to a very small commercial commercial break. And after that, we'll be back with our final series of the day or night, just depends wherever you are, and which is going to be a very cool all North American TVT between Illusion and Alex, or Illusion and Neep, sorry. Who is the better youngster? Well, we're about to find out after this commercial break.